Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday to all of you. How is everyone doing today? I hope you're having a great weekend. Let's see who we've got in the house. Being that this is the very beginning of the live stream, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm going to do with this live stream, I've actually got a few things to talk about today. But what I will do with it is I'm going to go ahead and add chapters to it. So that will give whoever wants to rewatch the live stream on the repeat, they can just go to the description of the video and you can click on whatever chapter you want to go to. So if you want to miss the salutations, which usually takes us anywhere between 10 and 15 minutes, you can just click on the very second chapter and it'll take you into one of our main talking subjects or our main subject matters, right? So you can do that if you want to rewatch the live stream without having to go through everything or guess where it is that I'll be talking about something. And each chapter will be titled. So it's very simple to do. You go to the description, you go to where it shows more, and it'll say chapters, and you'll have your timestamps. And all you got to do is click on those timestamps, and it'll take you to where you want to go. So let's start off by saying hello to Jan. How you doing, Jan? Good to see you today. I hope you're doing well. Elizabeth, Margarita Castaneda, how are you? Storm Rider, JT is in the house. Good to see you, JT. Thomas from Austria is here. Never done prepping. Rick Massey, Janet Nice, never done prepping is here. Oh, look at that. You got a 2-for-1 already this early on. Lori Johnson, how you doing? Yarn Prepper is in the house. Who else? We got Pampa J here. Busy Girl. Gracious 48 is in the house. Never Look Back. Miss Worm is in the house. How are you doing? I will call you N-Ba. N-Ba, how are you doing? The world hasn't burned down yet, and that's good. That is good. That is good. You know what, N-Ba? I'm not sure if you heard me say this before, but I really wish that in 5 years or 10 years or whatever, I can be like, man, we were all so wrong. All of the prepper channels on YouTube and on social media, we were all so wrong. Nothing's ever happened. It's just fine. I wish that were the case, but we can see how the world is maybe not on fire, but unraveling before our eyes. And that is why we prepare. Camouflage Chameleon, how you doing? Randy Brown, Ali is here. Free Will, how you doing, Free Will? Janice Nice, hello. The Mississippi River is, let's see. The Mississippi River is so low that the reason the flow has reversed. The barges just can't get the grain out to market. That's not good. All of these little things that happen here and there, ladies and gentlemen, all of those things affect input prices. The input price of whoever it is that's getting whatever product it may be that they process before they put out on the shelves for us to purchase. So that's another thing that will be affecting how much we pay for whatever it is that we purchase going forward. Savage Lee, how you doing? Mad Max. Let's see. Penny Willis. Billy Bob, what's up, brother? Listen, Billy Bob, don't be talking about snow to me, all right? Ladies and gentlemen, Billy Bob just gave me, and I call him Billy Bob, his little Alaskan home place. Go check out his channel, by the way. He just did a great video on a water filtration system, which I'm going to do a video on a water filtration system too as well. But the more the merrier, because the one that I have is different from his, gets people more options. But anyways, Billy Bob just sent me a text saying, yeah, we're expecting snow today. And I'm like, what? I'm like, do you not know that you do not send me the 4-letter word snow? I shouldn't even be saying that word right now, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, Billy Bob is expecting snow over there in the North Pole. The 49th state, how you doing? Good to see you. And it's eventually going to get here. Eventually, I will look outside and my daughter will laugh at me and say, look, Dad, snow. Suzanne, how you doing? Good to see you. Gina Siska, Linda Bob, hello. Valerie, how are you? All the way from Nashville. Who else do we have here? We have Missy here. How you doing, Missy? Janet Nice, my prepper journey. Philip Mullis, hello from South Carolina. Kid Nurse is here. Scottish Urban Prepper, how are you doing? Welcome. Southern Tier Prepper from Southern Tier of New York. And Prep Hard, folks, is correct. Storm Rider, Randy Brown, Terry Moorhead, Valerie Flynn, Crazy Backyard Chicken Man is in the house. Mayliana, I believe that's how you pronounce it, or Maylina. Welcome. Gizmo, Don Holbert. White Hammer, how are you? Candy Amaro, how are you? Sandy No, 312 Chick. I think I already said hello to Never Look Back, but hello again, just in case I did miss you. Hillbilly Prepper is here. How are you doing, Hillbilly Prepper? Robin Puckett, Becky Williams, Jean Eaton, Norma Kraus, Trump Be Cool. How you doing? Well, Trump Be Cool, join in the conversation. All right. If you have questions, ask your questions, okay? Because even though I don't catch a lot of them, I'm sure that someone in the chats will be able to answer it. And if you are an experienced prepper, by all means, jump on in here when someone does have a question that you can answer. Because the more answers we give, the better. Because I bet you that each answer is a little bit different, and that has value within itself. Ronnie Black, Akita Love. Let's see. Mother's Helper, how are you doing? Anita Johnson, Crazy Prepper Linda, Lou M. How you doing, Lou M? Welcome. Big Chap is in the house. Amazing Grandma, Soft Kitty 9. Stephanie Bell, Carol Gaskins, Savannah Krantz, Jennifer Cruz made it. I am that mom. Good morning to you. Mary Misfit is here. Good day as well, all the way from Wisconsin. Melissa Chanks, Diane Johnson, Ruth Berger. Berger or Berger? I think it's Berger. Pink Panther, how you doing? Lori Hansen. My skydive 11. No, thank you. I won't be doing any skydiving anytime soon. Probably never again. Nessa, how are you? Patricia Simonson, how are you doing, Patricia? Betty, Gwen Taylor, John, Jacoby, Robert Jameson, how are you doing? Just Arizona is here. Snakebite as well. Our Glory or R Gole, how are you? Penny Willis, Eagle Steve, Travis Lake, George Clayton from Asheville, North Carolina. Angela Hammonds, hello, happy Sunday to you. Hello, Patricia Miller. We have a newbie in the house. Welcome, Patricia Miller, to our community. Patricia says, I am a newbie here. Only have 20-pound bag of pinto beans and a lantern. Well, you are ahead of most people in the U.S. if you have that many preps. And I'm not being sarcastic or funny or hyperbolic, whatever you want to say. I actually just finished talking not too long ago to one of our community members. They had a question that I thought would be better answered over the phone. And I told her, and she says, well, I've been prepping for about a year or so. And I'm like, listen, if you've been prepping for about a year, you're ahead of about 90% of the people in the United States, just for the fact that you understand that you need to prep. And now if you've got enough preps for a few months, you're ahead of 95% of the people in the US as far as being prepared. Because I would say that about between 90 and 95% of the people in the US actually have preparedness items in their homes, specifically because they want to make sure they can get through any kind of a crisis. So you're ahead of most, Patricia. Slow and steady wins the race, right? And you can prepare on any budget. But just remember, consistency and slow and steady wins the race. Be consistent. Do your payday preps. Every time you get paid, get a little bit of a budget, no matter how small it is. Put it aside, and this is what I'm going to use to prep this payday, right? And you will get there slow and steady. 6 months from now, you'll be like, wow, where did I get all this? So good for you. And thank you for joining in. Saddle Ridge, Shar is here. How you doing, Shar? It is so good to see you. Good to see you. NC, how you doing? Vince Carroll, Bell Prepper 1970. Hello, Bell Prepper. How are you? Prepper 911. Lisa Foster is here. Hello to you. Ronnie Black, how you doing? All the way from Houston, Texas. Javona Deason, hello, all the way from Georgia. Let's see. Diane Johnson. Sean Penrod is in the house. How you doing, Sean? How you doing, Ronnie? Good to see you. Loida, how are you? Stephanie, Amazing Grandma is here. Joyful Orange, how are you? Blessings to you as well. Crazy Homesteader is here. J.E. Ramen, Busy Girl is here. Don't you know? Me Too says, lovely. Oh, hello to you as well, Me Too, and to our awesome moderators as well. Hello, Gina, Maria, Mike, Grateful 67, Deborah, William Quinn, how are you? Elizabeth. Cult leader is here. Joyful Orange, I already said hello. Already subbed to Little Alaska Home Place. Awesome. You'll like old Brad. He's a good Josh. You'll like Josh. He's a good guy. Really good guy. Down to earth. Landfill rat. Landfill rat. I like that. Sandy No, Gigi, Petite Prepper, Kitsy Witsy, Prep and Prayers. John Torrance, how are you? Let's see who else we have here. Michael Dangs, the Idaho Mike. The Idaho Mike says, blessings upon you and yours from North Idaho. Enjoy your words. Thank you very much, and blessings to you as well, Michael. That's awesome. Thank you for that. KZ Gypsy Muse. How you doing, John? I'm not going to try your last name all the way from Wisconsin. Sunset Gazing. Lisa Dawn Marble. Brenda Martin, how you doing? Let's see. All right. Who else do we have? Where are we at here? Oh, we're over 10 minutes already saying hello. Follow Alaska. Oh, yes, I know. Follow Alaska. It's that time of the year. There's no getting away from it. I know. There's no getting away from it. I think we have forecasted a little bit of snow for tomorrow, but they had already forecasted some snow for earlier this week, but the temperatures have been above freezing. So we've got nothing but rain. So that is great. No complaints whatsoever. I'll take rain anytime. As long as the temperatures stay above freezing. I don't want to take any rain during the middle of winter. That would be terrible. How you doing, Douglas Tobor? How are you doing? Michelle Latham, how are you? Preppin' Mon 07, Steve, how you doing? All the way from Canada. Good to see you here. Colleen Rich Pickett made it to the party. Let's see. Lois Scarberry, how are you doing? From Jacksonville, Florida. Gray Man is here. Good morning to you. Yours is sand, Free Will, huh? Are you living in one of those dry parts of the country? Ace Maduro, how are you? Mike? Stefano Capella, how are you doing? From Alberta, welcome. Roseanne Ferris, how are you? Ultra Mega Prepper is here. Stuck in the city, Southern California. Love y'all. Well, be safe down there. All right, Ultra Mega Prepper, be safe down there indeed. Hello, Heidi. How are you? Becky. Sylvia Carver, how are you doing? I know I'm going to miss some of you, so don't take that as that I don't care. It's just there's no possible way that I can catch every single one of you. But hello to everyone. I hope you've all had a great weekend, ladies and gentlemen. Safe one as well. I hope that you've done a little bit of prepping this weekend as well. I'll tell you what, the price of gas has really gone up here. In between this time last week, I think I told you about this on Friday, but between this time and a week ago, I think gas is up about $1 and roughly 40 cents or so, something like that. So big deal. That's a lot in 1 week. My goodness. Linda Bob says, question for Rudy. I've been playing the video for donation to Florida survivors. The views are not going up using 2 devices continuously. Yeah, I think the views are. I looked at it. I think it was yesterday that I looked at it. I'll look at it today. I think it's like 11,000 now. So every little bit helps, right? But we're going to do our best, ladies and gentlemen. And I've decided not to be disappointed at the low viewership for that video. I just thought that it would do really good because a lot of people are always saying, hey, you know, we can do something. But anyways, I've decided not to be disappointed. And we're going to take care of Grindstone Ministries because they're going to be taking care of people in Florida that really, really need it. If you haven't checked out Bear Independent, go check it out. He keeps you updated as to what's going on with the mission that they set up to go out there and take care of a yellow ribbon family, actually, a family of a veteran that lost their lives, and also a family that has a child that is disabled. And they pretty much need their home redone. They need a new roof. They need to redo the entire inside, take all of the drywall out, dry the inside, pretty much need to redo everything. And that's going to cost a lot of money. So if you want to, you can go to Grindstone Ministries. You can go to Bear Independence channel and look for the link to Grindstone Ministries. If he has it in his description, I'm not sure if he does, but all you got to do is type in Grindstone Ministries. And imagine, ladies and gentlemen, if everyone that watched this video just donated $1 to them, not to me, to them, because that's where the money that we gather here is going to. Because Grindstone Ministries, they use 100% of what they receive in donations for the mission. They don't do any administrative stuff or nothing like that. And they're good people, good patriots that want to help others that are in need. So that's where the money that I sent is going, right? So between that video and the sponsor that sponsored that video, so thank you, Opus, for sponsoring that video. Whatever money we collect from that is going to go straight to Grindstone Ministries, and I know for a fact that they're going to do good stuff with it. So go over there and support them that way. If you can, if your preps are all set and you can give $1, guess what? That's $1 that they didn't have, right? And $1 that they can use to put towards helping those people out, right? Everyone is always saying about help. Well, this is a way that you can help yourself. If you want to help and you don't have any money, just go watch my video. Let the ads run through, or 30 seconds worth of the ads run through, and that'll help, because whatever that video makes is going to be going over there. So thank you for bringing that up. I would have probably forgotten to talk about it today. Erica Bear, how you doing? From Morocco. How you doing? Good to see you all the way from Morocco. Linda B, how are you? Jerry Lou, Mark Jesus, my Savior 77. Blessings to you as well. Thank you, brother. Amy Streeter. Okay, let's see, who is this? John Norris made it all the way from Big Lake, Alaska. That is awesome. Lisa Foster, how you doing? Man, I see so many of you here. I can't stop saying hello. Alberta Prepper, how you doing? Good morning. Let's bring it down. And there is something that I want to talk to you about that I think is something that's good to talk about, because I see this coming. And it's actually already happening. It's already happening. Happy Sunday to you, Andy. Andy S. and MS. Hello, happy Sunday to you as well. The Cajun Homestead, how you doing? Silver Kid 23, thank you, Silver Kid. Hey, AP, wanted to ask, how long can tuna last? A friend in Florida is going through it. He says everyone out there can't get enough of it. It's flying off the shelves, and you can't even find it or any other food. You know, what are we doing wrong, ladies and gentlemen? As far as, thank you, Silver Kid. As far as preparedness-minded channels on YouTube and social media, what are we doing wrong that we are not reaching all of these people? We hear this every time. We hear this every single time. And when I put up that video a while back where I showed you shelves on the thumbnail, I had shelves at Costco stacked to the ceiling. And I said that these shelves will be cleaned out in hours, not days, not 72 hours like you hear, in hours. And during that video, I tell you that I spoke to someone, and I didn't say whether they worked there or not, hint, hint. And they told me that during the health crisis, during the beginning stages of it, when people were panic buying, that their shelves of the essential things, all right, of the essential items, they were cleaned out in 5 hours. When will people learn? And, you know, when I hear things like that, I'm like, why do people just not put back, even if you don't want to call yourself a prepper or whatever, it doesn't matter. Get yourself a 30-day supply of what you already eat. It doesn't have to be freeze-dry food. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. Get yourself a generator, you know, preferably a dual fuel. But if you can afford a small generator that runs on gas and you can put back a few cans of gas, that will work, all right? But get yourselves a generator first. Get yourselves at least at the very minimum. To me, having a 30-day supply is like having nothing. But for anyone that doesn't have a 30-day supply, that can make all the difference in the world. At the very minimum, get yourselves 30 days worth of sustenance and things that you need on an everyday basis, and just put it to the side and rotate it. But it seems that it will never stop. People will always have that normalcy bias. How long does canned tuna last, Silver Kid? According to the USDA, and you can look this up, canned anything that has been processed in a factory setting in a can, to include pressure canning that you do yourself at home, as long as you do it the right way, right, has an indefinite shelf life, meaning that it will be safe to eat pretty much indefinitely, as long as the container has not been compromised. For example, let's talk about a can. Let's say that can has little pinholes in it or has rust and it has lost its seal. You're not going to eat that. If you eat that, you're going to get very sick and you can possibly die. All right, so as long as the can has not been compromised, as long as it has been kept in a temperature that is conducive to keeping it, better longer, my rule of thumb is between 55 degrees and 70 degrees, without that temperature in between fluctuating really quick. So as long as those circumstances exist, that will be safe to eat pretty much indefinitely. Now, the question is this: how much of the nutrition will be left in that food stuff that's inside the can, right? The nutrition with time will evade. So the longer you have it, the less nutrition it's going to have if it's in a can, all right? However, the calories will still be there. The fat will still be there. And in the worst of crises, we have to remember that calories are king. All right, so that's the best answer I can give you on that. But you can look that up in the USDA website and just type in there shelf life of canned goods, or shelf life of what do you call it? Of pressure canned goods. Okay, and you'll be able to read up on it. I did a video on this a while back, and I think I left the links where I found it and all that. So if you take a look at my playlist or my videos and look for shelf life or best buy date, probably it'll pop up and I'll have a link there that will direct you where I got that information from. So good question nonetheless. These are the things that we need to continue to remind ourselves of. These things that to some may seem like they're basic prepper questions, but if you haven't been prepping very long and you don't know the information, it's not basic to you. It's information that you need to know. So we need to continue to ask these questions, ladies and gentlemen, because it may not only help you, it may help someone else. So I appreciate you asking questions like that here on the live stream where more people can hear it. Wow, isn't that something? Follow Alaska, $5.95 a gallon. I see that coming here as well at Fairbanks. Last I saw was like $5.44 or $5.49. And that was at Costco, though. It was like $5.69 out in town. So it's inching its way up there. I do believe that it's just going to continue to get worse. We may have our little periods of respite where things go down a little bit and then they brag about, hey, look at this. The price of gas is going down, but boom, it's coming right back up. How you doing, Alert? How are you? Shalom to you as well. Cuba Bound, how you doing? Hello, Zach. Good to see you. All right, let's bring it down some. Let's see. Okay. Mario, how you doing, Mario? Good to see you. Yeah, Michael was over yesterday too, Mario. When he sees me, he smiles because he already knows that I'm going to tickle. I found his tickle spot. It's right behind his arm. Right behind his arm, that's his tickle spot. So when he sees me, he smiles because he knows that he's going to get some tickles from me. All right. All right, bring you in now. So let's talk about something to start it off with, ladies and gentlemen. You all remember, actually, I think I put this video out yesterday sometimes that, financial Armageddon. You're going to lose your homes. You're going to lose your jobs. You're going to lose your 401ks. Ladies and gentlemen, of course, I'm not speaking about anyone in specific, but in general, this is going to happen. And I just happened to see the very first example of this happening to someone that I know. So this person has a piece of property. Well, he no longer does have it, really. Has a piece of property, has a house on it that he built. He fell on some hard times. And now guess who owns that piece of property and the house that he built on it? Not him. Not him. So he paid on this for a few years. He fell on hard times. And as soon as that 3-month mark came up, that's it. It's over. And I even called the financial institution to see if they would be able to work something out. And, I told my wife, I was like, man, why didn't he just tell me he was having problems? We could have helped him. But, I'll admit it. Sometimes that's more difficult for a man to do because of, just our DNA, right? But I wish he would have said something. We could have probably helped him out. But I even called and to see if there's something we can work out. Can't do it. The property is ours now. You got 30 days. And you have to think about what this means. If you really think deep into how this works, you'll see how it is that the system is 100% against you and not for you. You go to work, right? Every day to earn a living so that you can have a home to live in, so that you can provide food, heat, everything your family needs. And then what happens? The system by which we are governed monetarily, what they do is they devalue your labor by devaluing the currency in which you use to trade. And it's not just here in the US. This is how it works pretty much everywhere. And then when that happens, you start to fall down lower and lower into the socioeconomic status. You start to fall lower and lower because now you're working just as many hours, but what you're earning, and even if you may be earning more than what you were last year, it's not enough for you to keep up with the inflation that the system has created, that the Federal Reserve has created, and the government by printing money out of nothing, devaluing your money, right? So you do that, you go buy a house. When you go buy the house, the banks, they just create that money that you used to borrow to buy that house. They create it out of nothing. It was never there. They just pushed a few buttons and boom, there it is. It was never there before. It was never earned into existence. But you go over there and you promise them that, hey, I'm going to pay this off in 20, 30, whatever years it is. And you make that agreement with them. And then they create that money out of nothing. And then they have the tenacity to charge you interest for money that they never earned, for money that they created out of thin air. And then 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years later, however many years it may be, you may run into hard times. And after 3 months, all of those monies that you paid towards that debt, all of it is lost to you. All of those years that you spent working to pay that off, you fall into hard times. It doesn't matter if you spent 1 year or 5 years or 10 or 20 years. You fall into hard times and you miss 3 payments, that's it. You're done. That house is no longer yours for you to be able to live in it. And they did this with money that they never earned, with money that they just created out of thin air. And that is what's going to happen again. It happened in 2008, and it's going to happen again in a greater scale. That's why on that video I said that people are going to lose everything. Not everyone. If you are debt-free, you are a step above those that have debt. But do you think that in the United States there are more people that are debt-free than people that have debt, or the other way around? I would say that there are more people that have debt than people that are debt-free. Why? Because they've been indoctrinated into thinking that debt is okay. It's okay to keep up with the Joneses as long as you can keep getting those credit cards and paying the minimum. As long as you can keep borrowing that money to get that car payment so that you can buy that newer, bigger vehicle, so that when people look at you, they think you're cool, right? It's okay. That's what we've been taught. It took me a long time to get out of that paradigm. It took me a long time to understand, that a car has 4 wheels and it's going to get you from A to B. And would you rather spend your labor financing that vehicle that's going to get you from A to B than to not have to spend your labor financing a vehicle, because you understand that a vehicle's purpose is to get you from A to B. It's not going to make you cool. It's not going to change who you are. Well, we've been indoctrinated as a whole, as a country, we've been indoctrinated to think that you have to keep up with the Joneses. And then you find yourselves giving your lives to the banks because you've essentially mortgaged your life. You've essentially taken every bit of wealth that you earn and handed it over to the banks before you even get paid. And nowadays, people are living on credit cards. Even if they're working, and on top of being able to pay whatever they can pay with what they earn, they have to turn to credit cards in order to be able to fill in that delta, that difference, the gap. And then the banks are going to take it all away from you as soon as you can't make that payment. So this time around, the banks are going to get even more than what they did in 2008. You know, when I go back to the quote of that guy from the Whiskey Echo Foxtrot, you know, the world, you know, economic, then followed by forum, and he says that you will own nothing. And that's what they want. They want a country of renters. They want a country of people that they can control what they do in everything. And taking away the things that bring value to your life, taking away all of those years of your life that you work to get something, and then creating, right? Then creating the environment where you have no choice but not to pay, because it's either pay it or not eat. So we are going to have some kind of an economic crisis. Call it whatever it may be. Call it a liquidity crisis. Call it a problem in the bonds. I think that's what it's going to be, a liquidity crisis, which is interchangeable with bonds. You know, but call it whatever you want. But there's going to be some kind of a financial, economic crisis where people are going to lose their jobs en masse. And then those people that have been paying on A, B, and C for the last 10, 15 years, they're going to lose that A, B, and C. They're going to lose that 10, 15 years of their lives that they spent working, laboring for that fake money that we call the dollar. They're going to lose all of that time. And even those people that are debt-free, that have saved up and have done the right thing by sacrificing, you know, by putting away a lot of money in 401ks and IRAs and Roth IRAs, keeping it in savings and CDs, even in stocks, even those people are going to lose that paper wealth. Because if you don't hold it, you don't own it. So we have to prepare. Why? Will preparing keep what's going to happen from happening? Absolutely not. But what preparing will do, ladies and gentlemen, is it will give you options. It will give you the option to say yes or no to their solution. And who are they? They are the clowns. I call them the clowns. Those people that write laws, that write regulations, and that sit in their ivory towers looking down on us as peasants, looking down on us as serfs, or one of the terms that they like to use is useless eaters. All right, that's how they see us. And if you don't believe that, you better believe it soon. Because the way they see us is the way that they want to turn us. They want to turn us into serfs, 100% serfs. So why do you prepare? Because it gives you the option for when they come with their solution and present it to you, it gives you the option to say no. It gives you the option to say, no, thanks. I don't want to play that game. I've got 6 months to a year worth of everything that I need put behind. I'm going to go ahead and go with that. I had a little bit of excess wealth, so I put a little bit of excess wealth into gold and silver, and that's going to help me get by, because crises don't last forever. If crises last forever, then they wouldn't have the name crises, right? Crises don't last forever. And that's what you have to make it through. You have to make it through that time period where things are going to get so bad that people are going to say, I'll do whatever you want me to do, Mr. and Mrs. Government. I will do whatever you want me to do because I'm hungry and my kids are hungry and I'm cold and I need heat. Well, why don't you get that stuff now? Why don't you stop? I've told you often that if you're like a Patreon member, or if you're a member of the Ladies and Gentlemen's Club here on this channel, if your preps are not topped off, if you have one gap in your preps that you need to fill, I won't take it hard. I won't take it as an insult or anything. Unsubscribe from that. Unsubscribe from Patreon. Unsubscribe from the Ladies and Gentlemen's Club. Because that $3 or $4, whatever it may be, that's 4 pounds of pasta. And if your preps are not filled in, if you are not prepared, then stop doing that. Unsubscribe from whatever things you have that don't bring value to your life, i.e. a phone, a cable subscription, Audible, right? I just remember that I have a subscription to Audible. It's got like 14 credits in there, right? Or 10 credits that I need to use up. Why? Because I really like audiobooks. And I thought that my wife was using them up, but she hasn't been using them up either. So that's a subscription that I can unsubscribe from today. And that's $14, I think, something like that a month. But what I'm getting at is this. If you can see these things coming down the road, what are you doing about it? Get as prepared as possible now. And I do believe in charity. I do believe in helping my neighbor. I do believe that if you have the ability to stock up on even more than what you know you're going to need, that you should. Why? Because you will be a leader. You're already a leader. If you are a prepper, if you have the mindset of being prepared to be able to get through whatever crisis may be, you're already a leader. Because you already have that wisdom that a leader needs, which is forethought. What's going to happen? What's going to be the first, second, third, fourth order effects of what happens? Well, the first order effects of, let's say, if we have a liquidity crisis where the bank shut down, the credit card shut down, the ATM shut down, and all you have left with is cash, if you have any, the first order effects is that you're not going to be able to get what you need unless you have cash at home. So should you have a little bit of cash at home? Well, there you go. That's how you think, right? Be a leader. And then if you are able to get more things than what you would normally use, you can help your community. That's being a leader, helping your community, teaching them. You know, a lot of people are going to wake up. When this crisis hits, a lot of people are going to wake up and they're going to be more receptive as to what the solutions may be. And you can help them. That way they won't make the same mistake again. And even during the crisis, even during the crash, people will actually still be able to prepare. But I think that they'll be able to prepare with the help of those that are already prepared, because we've been doing this for a long time. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're still in a lot of debt, I can't tell you what to do. I'm not a financial advisor, and I have to say this because I'm on the internet. What I would do is I would do my best to get out of as much debt as possible. I get a lot of questions like, well, if we have hyperinflation, wouldn't that just erase our debt? Do you really want to find out if it will or not? I don't know. Maybe it will. Maybe 1 ounce of silver will pay your house off. I don't know. But do I know that it's the right thing to try to erase your debt, to try to get rid of your debt? I think that's the right thing to do. You made that debt. You should work it off and pay it off. You know, unless somebody held a boomstick to your head and say, you're going to take this debt whether you like it or not, right? So ladies and gentlemen, try to get out of debt as much as you can. Your best wealth generating tool is your income. And the reason I say that the best generating tool that you have is your income is because your income means it's what you get paid, not what the banks get paid. Because if you earn $100,000 a year, but you owe the banks $110,000 a year, you don't have an income. The bank has an income, your income, right? So your best wealth generating tool is your income and what you do with it. So try to get out of debt as much as you can. Stop telling yourself that you can't do it. Try to find ways that you can do it. Slow and steady does win the race. But I have to say that I would be more concerned right now if you have no preps and you have debt. I would be more concerned that you are prepared, right? That you are prepared. Because if you're debt free and you have no preps, you're going to starve and you're going to be very cold. So make sure that you're prepared. It's a balance. If you can balance it out, balance it out. There's a lot of good financial channels out there that help you on how you can get rid of debt. And you should get rid of debt as soon as you can. Ladies and gentlemen, debt is what keeps us enslaved. Do you understand? They've created a system that has kept us enslaved for so long. And it's called debt. It's bondage. That's what a bond is. A bond is a debt note. Like this fiat currency. This is like a mini bond. It's a little mini bond. It's a debt note. It's a promissory note. That's what it is. It's debt. Let's see. Kate, thank you, KZ. Thank you for this. AP, I'm small Detroit suburb prepper, and I need backyard fire pit. I've watched many vids and confused. Can you do a review for us, suburb rat? I do not have any fire pits to review. I can get one, but I don't have any. Let me explain to you why. Now, a fire pit, now KZ Gypsy, you can really pretty much make a fire pit out of anything. I mean, when I used to live in Michigan, we used to have bonfires all the time. And what I did was I cut a steel barrel in half, and then I poked holes in it, and then I kind of like put half of it in the ground, and it worked great. The reason you poke holes on the side is so that air can get in there, right? And the reason that I put it in the ground is so that it can have that effect of the air going like this, in and out, and it worked great. So you can make a pit, a fire pit, pretty much out of anything. You can go buy a fire pit. Actually, Costco has a great sale on a burn pit or a fire pit, and it's a little pricey. It's like $300, but it's a really nice fire pit that is just plug and play. You just put it, you put your wood, and it works fine. But the reason why I don't have like fire pits here, which I really enjoy, is because during the times of the year where it's warm enough for me to enjoy a bonfire, there's too much light outside. And so you really can't enjoy the fire. You know, there's heat coming out of it, but you can't really enjoy it, you know, sitting around it and seeing the flames and stuff, which is one of the things I like. And the reason that I don't do it during the wintertime when it's mostly dark outside is because it's too cold outside. Even with the fire going, it's too cold outside, and I'd rather just not sit out there in the cold trying to keep warm with a fire, and that's what I'm concentrating off instead of enjoying the actual fire that's going on. But yeah, you can make a fire out of many things. If you're not very handy with stuff, you can always just go buy one. If you have the ability to just go buy one, I know Costco right now has it. I know that the Solo stove, which is like a burn pit as well, is a really good, efficient burn pit, which is kind of like the same style that Costco has on sale right now. I really hope that answers your question. Hey, Funky Prepper, how you doing, brother? Good to see you, man. Funky Prepper is from the UK, ladies and gentlemen, and he does live streams, I think, almost every day. And he tells us what's going on in the UK. Forward to a joint live stream. Yeah, absolutely, Funky. I mean, if we can do it, absolutely. I have terrible internet here, and it's going to get worse and worse as winter comes along, because I'm not going to be able to open my window here pretty soon. And unfortunately, I actually don't have any other options. I've used every single option that I have as far as getting better internet, and that's it. The one thing that I thought would be a Hail Mary was to get what's called a network extender from Verizon, which is who I have my plan with. But I spoke to someone, and they said that's not going to work for what I need it for. And it is what it is. We'll just have to deal with what we get. But yeah, I love to, Funky Prepper. Send me an email, and if we can get together here pretty soon, I would have no problem, and I think it'd be a good time to have a live stream with you. All the way, me visiting you in the UK. Thank you very much, Y2. One day you should split super chats with the mods. Oh, Y2, don't worry about this. Well, I think I take care of my mods halfway decent. All right. So ladies, if yeah, I think I take care of my mods halfway decent. I haven't heard them complain, but I think I take care of them halfway decent. The thing is, ladies and gentlemen, I don't show you everything that goes on behind the scenes. All right. But I would hope that my moderators, that they think that I take care of them pretty decent. Let's see. Tonette is in the house. Tonette, how you doing? Good to see you. Say hello to the hubby. You see, Yarn Prepper. Thank you, Yarn Prepper. AP is very good to us. Yarn Prepper. I love my mods, ladies and gentlemen. I do. One of these days, we're going to have to get together so we can have just a mod party. Just me with my mods, just chit-chatting it away. I think we're going to set something like that up. That's something we definitely have to do. How you doing, Hands on Homestead? Good to see you. UK Canner, how you doing? Good to see you. Prepper 911. I apologize if I'm getting to your super chats a little late. I don't like stopping. I like going down and getting you when I get you. All right, but I appreciate it. Thank you, Prepper 911. Helping others is needed. Is a playlist on my channel so others can play your video back to back, so they can play it. Oh yeah. Oh, okay. So you have a playlist. What I do, thank you, Prepper 911. Usually what I do whenever I want to play a lot of someone's videos is I just cue them to watch later. I'll click on them and say, watch later, watch later, watch later, watch later. And then I go to my watch later, and you start the first video, and then it just goes on. It just continues from one video to another. So you can do that too. I am terrible at creating playlists and keeping them up to date and all that stuff. The only playlist that I think I've kept up to date pretty well is the payday preps. So I'm terrible at that. Yeah, YouTube is a great place to take a look at audiobooks. I think that 1 Second After is on YouTube. And 1 Second After is an awesome novel. Awesome novel. And the only thing is you just have to make sure that you have enough data that it won't, that it won't take away too much data from your phone. But you don't need that many megabytes in order to be able to listen to a book. Yeah, well, I think so too, John Norris. Maybe not more than gold. Well, I don't consider gold and silver as something that you need during an SHTF, like during a really bad crisis. That's something more that will preserve your wealth so that after the crisis, you can start with some wealth. But yes, alcohol and tobacco, barterable items like that will be worth it's, I guess you can say it's weight in gold, because people will need those stuff. People will need that, ladies and gentlemen. Alcoholics will need alcohol. If you're a heavy alcoholic, you can't just stop drinking alcohol cold turkey. You have to wean yourself off. Right now, a heavy smoker or something like that, I would say that you could probably quit cold turkey, but you'd probably be very grouchy, very irritable, right? But yeah, the people are going to need that. Think about if we have some kind of a liquidity issue in the financial system where things shut down. Pharmacies are going to run out. I put that video out, I think it was yesterday. Pharmacies will run out of medications that people need, that they are technically addicted to. Opioids, antidepressants. Those things are things that are addictive. Even sleeping pills can be addictive. I had a soldier once that became addicted on sleeping pills. Right. And I didn't even know that she was taking sleeping pills, because, in the military, you have that HIPAA, you can't just be asking your soldiers, hey, what medication are you on? You can't do that as a detachment sergeant. But I found out once she started acting in a weird way. I gave her a call and I was like, hey, what's wrong? You're acting different. There's something wrong that you're not telling me. What can I do to help you? And then she told me her story, and then I got it taken care of. I got her to a doctor and they were able to help her. So yeah, a lot of people are going to be needing that stuff. And think about it. What are they going to do when they don't have it? For an alcoholic not to have an alcoholic beverage, i.e. whiskey, vodka, whatever, for them not to have that or have access to that is like someone who hasn't eaten for a week. They're going to do whatever they need to do in order to satisfy that need, because it is a need. It is a need in order for them to stay alive. Well, Gigi, I haven't technically put away pretzels, but I have put away crackers. No problem. Lasts a very long time. I actually have a pack of those buttery crackers that I'm not sure if it's time for me to open that next pack yet. I think I opened up a pack last year that they've been in there for a while and they're still good. And I'm pretty confident that the ones that are in there right now that are even older are still good as well. Right. I'll probably go ahead and do a little video where I show you that water filtration system that I have, that I just got. And then I'll show you some of those crackers. I'll show you some walnuts that I have that are really old that I open, or my wife opened, and they're just fine. I'll try to throw a few of those little things in there. That way you can check those things out, because it does work. If you properly store something and first and foremost properly put it away, in a good manner, in a disciplined way, meaning using your oxygen absorbers, meaning that the jars inside are going to be nice and clean. If you're going to be dry canning, that if you store it in a temperature controlled room, keeps sunlight out of it and all that kind of stuff, things will last. All right. From my experience, they will last. All right. I can't speak for everyone. Okay, so it's the Solo stove that Costco has on sale. Yeah, Solo stove's a really good stove. It's a really good pit, and you can cook over it and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's not my kind of stuff, like I said, for the reasons I gave. Hey, how you doing, Cold War Prepper? Mr. Coffee, how you doing? Prepping by Faith, how you doing? Survival Preparedness for Beginners is in the house. How you doing, brother? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Anyone that's not subscribed to Survival Preparedness for Beginners, all right, Charles, Go check him out, man. Really, really good guy. And he gets a lot of good intel from inside, like Walmarts and stuff like that, because he delivers to them on a daily basis. So, good channel to be subscribed to. And he's a really good guy. That's first and foremost. You have to be a really good person. The Anonymous Prepper channel. How you doing? Good to see you. B Walker is here. How you doing, B Walker? Let me bring it down a little bit so that I can talk about my next subject here. Alert says, oh goodness, my mouse is giving me problems now. Okay. Alert says, these wonderful mods are spoiled. They mod several channels. Yes, my mods do a little bit of moonlighting, ladies and gentlemen. All right, they're doing a little bit of moonlighting, all right? How you doing, busy girl? Good to see you. Marty Preps, how you doing? Okay. Randy Brown, question, should we buy gas mask and what brand? I do have some gas masks. I've got different types for different reasons. I do have CBRN gas mask with the actual filters that filter out radiation and all that kind of stuff. I've never showed it, and I probably won't, because I mean, you can go and see 1,000 YouTube channels where they show them. All right. But I also have I actually have some right there. I have the over the nose and mouth gas masks that don't cover your eyes, that have VOS filters, which means that they filter out gases. And those are also good. You just have to let me give you the answer real quick. Get the best gas mask that you can afford. If you can get one at the very minimum that takes out gases, that filters out gases, that's what I would do if that's the best that I could afford. Right? Because those VOS gas masks, they will filter out bacteria and smaller particles than that as well. Right? They will filter out gas vapors. All right. So I would get the very best one that I could get. If you have all the money in the world, I would say go ahead and go to an Army surplus store, grab yourself an actual Army gas mask and get several filters that you can use. I do not have the rechargeable hand warmers. I thought about buying some, but man, it's just I'm just not sure that I would use it. I may use it. I have those that I don't know if you can see them back there. You could probably not see it, but I've got the Zippo ones right there. That's behind that Aladdin lamp or lantern. See that orange? That's a Zippo, a hand warmer that actually uses fuel. I bought those because they came recommended by Billy and Dee from Frontier Preppers. And man, they work great. I love the way they work. Like one fill will last like 12 hours. And I don't know how they do it, but it keeps it nice and warm, but not hot. And you don't really like smell fuel. So it's a really good little thing. The only downfall is going to be that you have to make sure you're supplied with extra fuel, right? And sometimes that fuel can be a little bit difficult to come by. I think I've got like 5 small cans. I wish I can get like 20 more, but I almost never see them. You can probably get them at Walmart, but man, I just don't like going to Walmart. It's very, very rare that I go to Walmart. Once in a while. Alabama Prepper, how you doing? You do not have to freeze your dry beans before sealing them in Mylar. If you're going to use oxygen absorbers, that's what I would recommend. Use oxygen absorbers. Okay. So you don't have to do it. The oxygen absorbers will what do you call it? Kill any microbugs that are in there, right? Any weevils or little larvae that are in there, it will kill it. Okay. Someone asked me once, I think I saw it on a question here on a rerun when I was rerunning the live stream. Someone asked, should I add bay leaves and diatomaceous earth to any dried items that I want to store for long term, i.e. rice, beans, wheat berries, stuff like that? And the answer to that, or my answer to that, is that you can, but you don't have to. If you're using oxygen absorbers, then that's pretty much going to take care of it, right? Usually whenever I put away things for long term, I try to wait till the winter time, because it allows me to leave like that bag of rice or beans in my truck. I just leave it out there for a week or two. Negative 20-degree weather is definitely going to kill whatever bugs there are in there. Right. But technically you do not have to if you're using oxygen absorbers. Right. Diatomaceous earth will kill microbugs. Right. It will kill microbugs. But if you're using oxygen absorbers, you don't have to. It's not going to hurt, but you don't have to. Bailey's is really not used to kill bugs. It's just used to keep bugs away. Right. It's used to keep bugs away. No, it won't. No, Randy, man, that is a great comment. Man, you see, this is why it's important for us to have diversification within our chats from people that come from different experience, that have different experience. That's something that I forgot to say. I know about this, but it's definitely something that I forgot to talk about. That's very important for people to know. If you're going to go get a gas mask, it's not going to work properly if you have a beard. Right. So if you ever need to use a gas mask and you have a beard, you're going to have to shave it off. Right. At least, up to, I would say just shave the whole thing off because it's going to come up to here too. So yeah, because it's not going to seal. You may think it's sealing and it's working, but it's not going to. Right. So that's one of the main reasons why in the military you have to have a clean shaved face, is because of that. Or at least that's one of the reasons that I was told, at least. But it makes a lot of sense. So yeah, if you're gonna don on a gas mask, it's really not gonna work very well unless you have a clean shaved face. All right. And obviously this goes out to males, to guys. Yeah, John Norris. I mean, the only problem with me having any radios here, which I do, I have a few different radios, some ham radios and a few of them. I don't have a CB radio, but I also have some just regular radios that you can talk. It's the line of sight. That darn line of sight. It depends on where you live. Depending on where you live, man, a CB radio, or even just a regular cheap radio, will go a long way. How you doing, JRC Homestead? How you doing? Oh yeah, man. Dominican Republics, they make really good cigars over there. Really, really good. All right, let's bring it down some. Okay, I'm just looking, ladies and gentlemen. I know that I'll miss some questions like I always do. Oh yeah, John Norris. I mean, I've been talking about this for a while. What are you going to do when China cuts us off? I don't see any way around it. China will cut us off eventually. I mean, a lot of people have contentions with me showing things like on my payday preps that are like made in China. I'm like, where else are you going to get it? Where else are you going to get this if you don't buy it? And those same people that have contentions with that have a problem with that, they may not be understanding. It's like, hey, do you take any aspirin? Do you take ibuprofen? Do you take over-the-counter medical, medication? Are you on prescription medication? Because more than likely, some of those things that you're taking, at least the ingredients come from China. I know that most of it comes from China. A lot of it comes from India, but we produced almost none of it here. And that's the point. Is that if you don't produce it here, you better get it. Because eventually, ladies and gentlemen, especially when our dollar is done, our dollar is almost done. When our dollar is done, we're not going to be importing anything more than the value of what we can export. Meaning we're not going to be running any deficits because there just won't be any countries that are left for us to run a deficit with that trust the dollar enough to take our dollars that we print out of thin air. How you doing, Showtron Munitions? Good to see you. I am not a medical professional, Diane Steck, but I did see a documentary on Chernobyl, and they said that they were giving their children a lot of apple juice because the pectin in apple juice helps to bind up any radiation particulates or radioactive particulates and excrete them through your body without it staying inside your body. So apple juice, pectin. Let's see. Y2, thank you, Y2. Thank you for that. My local library has a seed sharing vault. Awesome. Give a packet, take a packet, etc. People may want to check their libraries for this. And if they don't have one, they might want to advocate for one. Man, that's a great idea. Great idea. Let me see. Let me see. Apocalyptic Ben, how you doing? I have content too. Gas masks will be handed out. Really, you think that gas mask will be handed out, Apocalyptic? That's interesting. Okay, let's see. Oh, I love those. Well, my wife loves them more than me. Gigi says, AP, we also use the True Lemon packs. How do you store your packs? We vacuum seal them. That should be just fine. That should be just fine. Like the ones that we have, we didn't do anything to them because we use them. So, you know, the packs that we got, we use. So whenever I see that one pack is almost out, I'll order some more and then we'll go ahead and fill in that gap. But right now we have enough to probably get us through about a year or so, because my wife uses this on an everyday basis. I use it once in a while, but she uses it on an everyday basis. So we have enough to get us through about a year. And then once we empty out one box, I order another box and rotate it around. But right now we have plenty. And if we had to, for example, because they became unavailable, we can ration them. And instead of my wife using 2 or 3 a day, because she likes to put it in her water, right? And getting lemons here is very expensive. That's actually a great alternative than to actually putting a lemon or a lime in your water. She likes to put it in her water, and she'll go through 2, 3 packs, sometimes 4 of those little packs a day. So I know that we're going to rotate through them, so I don't have to pack them in any special way. But vacuum sealing them, I think, would be just fine without oxygen absorber or nothing. Because if you tear one of those little packs open, you'll notice that the inside of them is like Mylar. Right? It's like a Mylar material on the inside, which doesn't let in any sun. It doesn't let any air penetrate through them. So you should be just fine storing them for long term by vacuum sealing them. Let me see. Snipes Huntress, should dry beans be canned with water to lessen the time to cook? That's how I do it. But that's not, I don't prep beans like in the wet form by canning them. I do it. I have a few jars of canned beans because we use them, right? Especially pinto beans. I've got a whole bunch of black beans. I'm not sure if you all saw a payday prep I did, I think sometime last year, where my wife went to Costco and they had an incredible sale. It was a one of those sales that has the star on it, meaning that it's not coming back. It was an incredible sale on a case of black beans. And I think we ended up paying like 23 cents a can for those. So she ended up getting like 7 cases. So those beans that we really don't buy in the can, I just pressure can them and then I put them on my shelf and we use them. And when we start running low, I'll go ahead and pressure can another set. But I like having them dry for long term because if for any reason there is some kind of a major crisis, you're still going to have your pressure canner, right? You're still going to have your jars and you're going to have your dry beans. That's how I plan on cooking my beans should there be some kind of a crisis. I'm going to do a load of beans, 7 quarts or whatever it is that my canner takes. I think it's 7 at one time. I've got a smaller one. And then I'm going to put them up and I'm going to use them. And when they start running out, guess what? I'm going to do the same thing again. And it's pretty much what I do now. All right. But mainly with pinto beans, because I have a mess load of black beans. And it's a good thing because I love black beans. Black beans are actually my favorite. I'm that mom. Can you pressure can coconut oil for long term? You do not need to pressure can coconut oil. If you take your coconut oil, let me go ahead and say this. I can't tell you if you, I don't know. I have coconut oil that is old. I think is, 5 or 6 years past the best by date. That's been open, that we've been using. We don't use it every single day, right? But we use it every once in a while for this or that, right? There is absolutely nothing wrong with it. Nothing at all. As long as you seal it, as long as when you take some coconut oil out of that container, you use a utensil that is clean, sanitized, no bacteria, that coconut oil is going to last a very long time. Like I said, I've got one that's like 6 years past the best by day right now. We've been working on that thing for years. And it's just, we don't use it a lot, right? But there's nothing wrong with it. Coconut oil, in my opinion, is the very best fat that you can store for long term because it'll last so long. The second I would say would be ghee. If you can make ghee with butter, I would never buy ghee, but I would make my own with butter. It'll last pretty much indefinitely, and it tastes great. Then after that, I would say lard. Right. Then after that, I would go to the other oils like avocado oil, virgin olive oil, and pretty much any oil that I've got stored away. I always keep it on the floor of my pantry because that's the coolest place in my pantry. And I think we're working on a bottle of oil right now that's 2019. That Best Buy day was 2019. But coconut oil, you do not have to pressure can. It will last years, right? If coconut oil starts growing bacteria, it's very easy to see. You'll see that it starts building like black strands. They almost look like hairs that were impelled into the coconut oil. So if they start getting bacteria in it, you'll see like little black strands running through the oil, right? But like if I showed you that coconut oil that I'm using, and I have in some previous videos, I've shown you it, it looks just like any coconut oil that you will go get from the shelf right now. All right, it really doesn't age. It ages very well, let's say that. Hey, how you doing, John Butler? Welcome all the way from Jersey. RR Animal Rescue, how you doing? RR asks, what do you do when the water you stored runs out after a month of staying inside due to fallout? All outside water will be contaminated. Well, the thing is that some of the more popular water filters will actually take out radioactive contamination from water. Okay. The thing is that they're not going to last very long whatsoever. They're going to get plugged up real quick. And as far as cleaning them, it may be, difficult to clean them because it's got radioactive material on it, right? Do you have the things in place to be able to do that? In your case, you would have to just store as much water as you possibly can. Having a good water filter, you need a good water filter. If that were I hate doing scenarios, right? And that's why I always go back to this is what I would do. If you all saw me review a water filtration system a while back, it's called Zero Water. It's on my Amazon storefront if you want to see what it looks like, because obviously I don't have one here. Right, that Zero water filtration system is not very expensive. To get the base is like $30. It comes with one filter, but that Zero water filtration system, it's just as good as reverse osmosis. So it works really, really well, right? It's actually the very best gravity-fed filtration system that I've used as far as the quality of the water, as far as how much stuff it takes out of the water, right? It's pretty much everything. It comes out zero particulates per million or 0 ppms. It comes out zero. Obviously, the more you use it, it'll inch up, but that's still really good. This is what I would do, and this is what I have done. I have that system. If that were the case where I knew that I needed to get water, cleaned it, get whatever radioactive particulates out of it, I've got enough of those filters where I could probably do a few gallons every single day before that filter clogged up. So that's what I would do. I would do something like that. I would find a filtration system where I can get enough replacement filters where every day I can go through one filter for a month or two. And that's what I have with that system. And the filters for those are like, I don't know, they're like $9 a piece. I think you can buy like a pack of 10, I think, or 8 for like $70-$80, something like that. But that's what I would do. Ideally, get more water put away. If that is something that you're worried about, just put away more water. If you live on your own land, 55-gallon drums work really well. And if you have your own land, also those 250, 500-gallon tanks, those big black ones, those work really well as well. It depends on how far you want to take it. Hey, how you doing, Buzzard? Good to see you, brother. Good to see you, man. You can have a beard in the Navy? I didn't even know that you could have a beard in the Navy. You're talking about here in the U.S.? I had no idea. Well, when I was in the Navy, you couldn't have a beard. For those of you who don't know, I retired from the Army, but I spent a small stint in the Navy early on in life. What time is it? Well, we're at 1 hour and 10 minutes. How you doing, Prepping Fool? Good to see you. Apocalyptic Ben, how you doing? Sunset Gazing, hello. Yes, Funky Prepper, absolutely. But you know, we're all different, and we live in different parts of the world. So what I like to tell people is that there is a core number of things that every human being needs, and that is water, that is food. If you need medication, you need safety, you need shelter. And of course, depending on where you live, you need heat as well, right? And self-defense, I think I said self-defense in there, but self-defense as well. But yeah, everybody needs to eat, everybody needs to drink. That's a fact. Everybody needs to be in a shelter where they're going to be safeguarded from the elements outside. Okay. Oh, I forgot the name of it. If you're talking about the crickets, I forgot the name that they're using. I put up a video a while ago where I actually shared the ingredients and showed you the name that they're using instead of crickets on there. So you may want to take a look at that. It's probably about a month ago or so. I think it starts something like, did you know that major food companies are putting crickets or something like that in our food? Oh man, that's really too bad, because that's like one of their biggest exports is tobacco for Cuba. That's really too bad. Let's see something real quick. Okay. Oh, absolutely. Evie, or Evie, you don't even have to vacuum seal rice if you're only going to keep it for 1 year. I have a bin where I put my rice. I get 50 pounds of rice. I have a bin that will accept up to 65, 70 pounds, and I fill it up. And that rice lasts me a year or more, right? It will last me a year or more, that 50, 60 pounds of rice in that bin. Nothing wrong with it whatsoever. Rice is a very, very dry food. Now, inside of that bin, I do throw in a few bay leaves. Inside of that bin, because it's a sealed container, but I often open it to get rice out of it. So you get fresh air going in, and you never know if a fly or something may want to go in there. There's a bay leaf in there to discourage it from doing so. So if you're just going to keep rice for a year, you're fine. You don't have to do anything to it. Of course, keep it away from rodents. Keep it in a temperature controlled room if you can. Keep it away from sunlight. You can leave it in its regular packaging and put it away from it for a year, and it'll be just fine. So you don't have to do anything like that if you're going to use that rice within a year. Let's see. Okay. There you go. Thank you for that, Passionate Herbs. My coconut oil that I use has 2018 date on it, and it is as fresh as the day I opened it. Coconut oil is awesome, and I have enough of it to back up that statement. Right? We have enough coconut oil put away to take care of our fatty needs, like for cooking, oil needs for a while. Right? I also like my olive oil. My wife loves olive oil. Right? And we have a lot of that too. We have enough of that to last us probably for about a year and a half or so. Not that much, about a year and a half or so. But that coconut oil, that will save you. It really will. Joyful Orange. What about the liquid that's in plastic containers? The solid is different. I keep my MCT oil and regular coconut. I would not use the liquid. I only use the one that actually turns solid. And I try to get the ones that are cold pressed version. Right? That's what I try to get. Those are the most natural, and I think being that they're so natural is one of the reasons why they last so long. So I've never used any of the coconut oil that is a liquid coconut oil. Just take a look at the ingredients. I don't know what it's got in it. I don't know if it's just pure coconut oil, but they had to have done something to that coconut oil for it not to solidify, right? So I've never used it though, so I really can't comment on that. Oh yes, I've got some ghee that's from 2013, and it is so good. I think I've got one jar left from 2013, and then I'll start using my newer stuff. Man, it is so good. I have heard that olive oil that comes in the tin cans will last longer because of the sunlight, but just keep it away from sunlight, and that works out, right? I just keep it away from sunlight. The only light that the stuff that I have in my pantry sees is the LED lights. That's the only light that it sees. There's no windows in that room, and even though we have a big window in the room that's next to our pantry, no sunlight comes into that room. All right, where are we at? Let's see. I'm looking, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, good point, Janet. Don't forget that if you have a hot water heater, there is water in there that is potable. All right, so make sure that you make good use of that if you ever need it. Knee deep and crazy. Thank you very much. Okay, Travis made a video about WINTHSK. I don't know what that is. Vodka for radiation. I wish I could understand what those few words were, knee deep. Thank you very much. Yes, I can see it. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not a radiation expert. I don't know. All right. I'm sorry, B. Krupla. I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but I don't know. I honestly don't. How do you use wood that has been exposed to radiation? I guess the reply that I would give to that question is try to make it to where your wood will not be exposed to radiation. So, for example, I'm just not worried about that. And I understand we all live in different parts of the world, but I'm not worried about nuclear stuff. So I really don't talk about it too often. But I think the main question would be is put away your wood and cover it with something that would keep any radioactive particles off of it. That way, let's say, for example, I have a cord of wood and I covered it with a big tarp and something does happen where there is fallout. Well, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to spray everything off that tarp. That way you get rid of whatever radiation there may be on the tarp before you handle it. And then your wood would be free from radiation. So the question is not how do you get rid of the radiation from your wood, but how do you keep your wood from getting radioactive particulates on it to begin with? And then with a tarp, you can easily spray that off. Where's the runoff going to go? I don't know. So that would be different for everyone. Will the runoff from you cleaning that tarp with radioactive particulates on it, where's it going to go? Is it going to go towards your house? Is it going to go into your garden? Where is it going to soak into? Those are things that you want to think about as well. Oh yeah, John Norris. I'm talking about the rank and file. The rank and file in the Navy, just like every other branch, you can't wear a beard. Even in the Army, the Special Forces, when they deploy, yeah, they grow beards. Yeah, those guys get to do things that the regular, rank and file people in the military that they don't get to do. So yeah, that makes sense now. Gasoline, if you add a stabilizer to it and you keep it in a container that is sealed, and the way that I know that a gasoline container is sealed is because it will puff up in the heat and it will shrink down in the cold. That means that there's no external air getting in or out, right? There's no relief valve. That's how I know it's sealed. On the Stabil that I use, I believe it says 3 years if you treat it with the proper amount. However, I can tell you right now that I've used gasoline that was like 6 years old, that was in a sealed container, and it worked just fine. Okay. How you doing, Eric? Good to see you. Eric Ibu. Love to Garden. How you doing? Sunset Gazing. I'm not sure if you're talking about storing rice in plastic bottles. I mean, 2 liter bottles, you can use them for a lot of things. I've got rice in them. I've got beans in them. You can use them to store water. They actually stack pretty well. If you have a closet space, they stack pretty well. You can put some of that space in the bottom to use. Yeah. Yeah, Hector Prepper, and that's why I say people have to do their research. I actually have mixed feelings about Berkey because I've seen some professional water tester, a guy that does water as a profession, like water filtration, who actually saw the results of a Berkey, and he actually said, "Hey, these are good results. There's nothing wrong with these." And then I did see that other video where that gentleman said, "Hey, Berkey says that they do this and this, but the third party that tests for them, that tests the Berkey water for them, they're not certified and all that kind of stuff." So I've got Berkeys. I think the Berkeys that I have done a good job. I will use them if I ever have to use them, but I like to be diversified in everything. So even though I have a Berkey, I also have a different water filter that's, I believe, just as good, that I got a long time ago. All right. But I just received another one that I want to review to show you all. That way you guys can check it out, do your research, see if it will work. I bought this like 3 weeks ago and it finally came in this weekend. So I'll review that one sometime this week. I was hoping to have it done already, but I'll try to review it sometime this week so you can check it out and you can do your own research. But yes, do your own research. But I'll leave it at this. I would rather have a water filter than to not have a water filter, right? At all. So what I say about water filters is get the best that you can afford. I believe that everyone in the United States, everyone in every country, but mainly here in the United States, this is where I live, right? I believe that everyone in the United States should have a reverse osmosis water filtration system under their sink, or one that would work on the counter, whatever, but reverse osmosis. I think that instead of mandating people to put solar panels on their roofs, if they're building a house, they should mandate that every single house in the United States has a reverse osmosis water filtration system. They're only a couple of $100 and they can literally save your life, right? Just ask all of these people that have had problems with their water in their cities and found out that they were getting cancer and all that kind of stuff. It's just a no-brainer as far as I'm concerned. And now the ones that they sell, you don't even have to install them. I mean, they have over the counter. I mean, on the countertop reverse osmosis, where you can just put water in it and it'll do its stuff, clean your water, and you're good to go. So I think everyone should have one. It's very important. I would say yes, Michael. Even if you have stored water, if you're using it in a crisis, if you're using it because something happened and you cannot get water, use a water filter. Why? Because if it's to that point where you can't get water, it may also be to the point where you can't get medical attention if you need it. Right? I would feel very comfortable right now with doing a review video and drinking water, that maybe it might be sketchy, right? Because I know that tomorrow, if my gut hurts and I know I've got food poisoning or something like that, I can just go to the hospital and get it taken care of. But during a crisis, no. So use all of the resources that you have if you are in the middle of a crisis to make sure that you can mitigate anything from happening that's out of your control. And you getting some kind of food poisoning or bug from the water or something, that is out of your control. Once you got it, you got it. What are you going to do to get rid of it, right? Okay, let's see. Okay, I'm going to bring it down, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, look at that. I'm not even that far behind. That's awesome. How you doing, my peeps? Well, hey, Henry, if that works for you, then go for it. Hide in the closet with a pillow over your eyes and pray. Okay. How you doing, Warlord TV? Good to see you. I never have UK Canner. UK Canner asks, do you recommend vacuum sealing blocks of butter before freezing them? I never have. I've never had any butter that was freezer burnt. It's always, of course, I've always left it in the original container with the wrapping and everything. I've never had any butter that was freezer burnt. So I can tell you that. And talking about butter, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to go ahead and talk to you about this real quick. This is just a story, okay? It's a funny story. So little Miss Alaska Prepper, about a week ago or a week and a half ago or so, she needed some heavy whipping cream in order to make, I forgot what she was making also, because it's been already like 10 days. But about 3 days ago, 3 or so days ago, there was still about a little more than half of that whipping cream, heavy whipping cream in the fridge. And I asked little Miss Alaska Prepper, are you going to use this for anything? And she said, no, I don't need it for anything. I'm like, okay, I just want to know because I don't want it to go bad. So I took that. It was a half-gallon container and it was a little more than half full. So I took it out of the refrigerator and I start shaking it. I start shaking it for like 5 or 10 minutes. I just shook it, hoping that it will turn into butter, right? And it started getting thicker. But I had to go somewhere. I shouldn't have started doing it at that time. I should have waited. I had to go somewhere. I was like, I got to go. So I put it back in the fridge. And like I said, right before I put it back in the fridge, I could tell that it was getting a little more viscous, right? But it wasn't butter yet. So I come back home later on that day and I tell my wife, I was like, do we have any sour cream? And she got me a little bit of sour cream. I'm like, I'm just going to make sour cream out of this. I said, I don't feel like shaking it. We got plenty of butter. I'm just going to make sour cream out of it. It'll work fine. And normally to make yourself a really good sour cream, what you would do is you would use 2 parts of heavy whipping cream to 1 part of buttermilk. That makes really great sour cream. But you can also culture your cream with some regular sour cream, like your leftovers from the last batch, and it will also make sour cream. Well, since I had already started shaking that cream and it had already started binding to itself, I went ahead and went to make sour cream out of it, right? I used a little bit of sour cream in each container because it took 2 containers. I mixed it around really good until it was dispersed evenly. I left it on the counter. I put some paper towels over it so that no mosquito or anything like that may get into it or dust. And I came back 24 hours later. 24 hours later, it was a little bit thicker and you could tell that it was starting to turn into something, right? But it didn't look like it normally looks when I'm making sour cream with buttermilk and heavy whipping cream. So I'm like, okay, so I just covered it back up and I left it there another 24 hours. So a total of 48 hours. So I come back. This was yesterday morning. I came back and I started stirring it around. And as I started stirring it around and not stirring it around hard, just nice and slow, stirring it around, trying to mix everything together, it started turning into butter. So just stirring it around nice and slow, it started turning into butter. So I'm like, man, this is turning into butter. So I did the whole thing. I did both containers and they both turned into butter. They came up, that nice little yellow or light yellow look in it came out of it. And I was like, this is awesome. So I added a little bit of salt in each. I finished turning it. And then I pressed it with a plastic so that I can put it back in the fridge. But I tried it. I put a little bit on a piece of cracker. Ladies and gentlemen, that is so good. I've heard about cultured butter, but I've never bought cultured butter. It's butter with active bacteria in it, right? Acidophilus bacilli, I think it's called, the bacteria that goes in it. And I've heard of it. I've never done it, never tried it, but I'll tell you what, it came out so good. It came out spreadable, where you can spread it really easy. And it's got a light, fluffy taste, and it's definitely butter. It came out excellent. So that little mistake that I made of shaking it a little bit and then trying to turn it into sour cream, even little Miss Alaska Prepper tried it, and she said, you ought to remember how you made that so you can make it again. It's just a story I thought I'd share with you. I thought it was pretty funny. Let's see. Knee deep and crazy. Thank you. Green walnut husk and vodka to make tincture. Okay, I guess that's a type of tincture that you can make, medicinal, for medicinal purposes. So you see, ladies and gentlemen, there are medicinal purposes that you can use spirits for. Thank you, Knee Deep. Hoodao, how you doing? How you doing, Hoodao? Good to see you. Who's your pioneer? How are you? Chelsea Hutchinson is here. How you doing? Good to see you, Chelsea. Say hello to the hubby and the little baby as well. Christine Ann, how you doing? Ultrid is here. How are you doing? Maple syrup lasts indefinitely. Absolutely. I love my maple syrup, ladies and gentlemen. I hate that fake stuff, by the way. I do not like that fake stuff at all. I don't know why anyone likes that fake stuff. And I've noticed that with real maple syrup, you don't really need as much as that fake stuff. And I also like birch syrup as well. Very, very good. A lot stronger, in my opinion. Okay, let's see. There you go. Good one there, Michael. It would be wise to have a trench system around your cord of wood to control the runoff. Yeah, that's something to think about as well. Oh, Hector, you say you have Aquacera. Aquacera is a filtration system. Yeah, a lot of filtration systems, they add silver to it as well. People don't know how much silver is used in all of the things that we use on it, on an everyday basis. Well, you know what? Free will, I use like 4.5 mil. And the reason I use 4.5 mil is because I always put my Mylar bags in buckets, either in buckets or some kind of a not Tupperware, but yeah, it's like the buckets that are like this that are yellow and black, those big buckets. I put them in there, but I would say that the thicker the better. The thicker that they are, the better that they are. All right, let's bring it down a little bit. Lewis, you don't store sour cream for long term. I would not freeze it. I think that if you freeze it, it'll mess up the texture. It's just, I guess they do have, I think it's Hoosier Farms has sour cream in a powder form. You can store like that. They do sell, I think it's Nestle. I forget if it's Nestle or a different company, or I'm pretty sure that the Goya company has this. They do sell sour cream. It's like French creme that they sell in little cans that have, that will stay good a lot longer. And it's really good, by the way. You can do that as well if you like to do that. But you can't like go buy sour cream and store it for long term. I don't think it'll work out very well. I wouldn't want to use it if it had a texture other than what I'm used to already. So if it ever came a point where there's just no sour cream available and you don't have a farmer friend who can hook you up with some cream and you can make your own, then I just wouldn't use it, tell you the truth. It's not something that's very high on my priority list, but it's definitely something that would be very nice to have during a time where you couldn't get it anywhere else. I no longer pressure can my ghee. When I first made ghee, I pressure canned it. I no longer do it because, in my opinion, you just don't need to do it. It'll last just as long without you pressure canning it. Yes, good point, Hillbilly Prepper. Make sure that you stock up on your herbs and spices because that's going to make your life a lot nicer as far as eating. You don't want to get food fatigue just because you don't want to put up some spices. Yeah, they do, and especially if you're going to like cook with it or bake with it, like make you an Alfredo sauce or something like that. I tried like reconstituting it into like a sour cream. I didn't like it, but I do know that it has its place in the realm of baking and cooking with it. I have made like an Alfredo sauce with it, and it's actually really good. To me, it has a little bit of a bitterness, which I really like in an Alfredo sauce. Yes, that's what Nestle has. It's media crema. That's what it is. It is a great substitute for sour cream. You know what? I need to stock up on that. I only have like one can of that stuff left. The thing is we just don't use it very often. We don't use sour cream very often. So it's not something that I think about. But I think I'll stock up on that. I believe they have those in the commissary, I believe. Lewis, are you serious? Uh-oh, just a second, I lost it. Are you serious? Because we pressure can all of our butter. Can we use tub butter? If you're talking about tub butter, that's not real butter. Like I forget their names. No, you need to use butter to make ghee. Real butter. Preferably unsalted. All right. That way you can get more of a yield. All right. So preferably unsalted. You can do it with salted butter, but preferably unsalted. If I saw that they were having a sale on butter that was awesome and it was salted butter and they didn't have any unsalted butter, I definitely get it and make ghee out of it. Yeah. Oh, absolutely, man. I love my powdered eggs, John. You know that. I love my powdered eggs and I've got enough for a little bit. I have to stop eating them, right? I have to stop eating them because I need to save them. They're a little bit pricey now compared to when I bought them. Okay, let's see. I tried the Oxen Farms butter powder. I mean, I guess it was all right. The only thing about butter powder that I don't like, and it doesn't matter what it is. It can be Nutrient Survival. It can be Oxen Farms. It doesn't matter. It's not going to melt like you'd think butter would melt. It's just not going to. But you can bake with it. You can spread it on a piece of toast. I mean, it was okay. I am partial to Nutrient Survival. So if I were to get any butter powder, that's what I would get. Nutrient Survival. But, get what you are going to use first and foremost. Get what you are going to use. Uh, oh, really? Oh, that's right. Is Amazon having like another Prime sale or something like that? I guess it starts tomorrow. Oh my goodness. I hope my wife's not watching this live stream. I didn't even know about that. Let's see. Bonnie, did I say hello to you? I'm not sure if I said hello to you today. How are you doing, Sakira? Amazon has Awesome Farms butter powder. Really? That's actually not a bad price. Look at the ingredients, though. Make sure you look at the ingredients, okay? Red Feather butter is the best butter in the world. And I am so happy. JT, aren't you happy that we stocked up on that butter when it was like $5 a can? And people were like, oh my God, that butter is $4.75 a can. That's ridiculous. Oh, I'm so glad we stocked up on that butter. That butter is delicious. Let's see. Oh, I'm gonna have to get on that Amazon site and change the password and act like I don't know what's going on for a few days. Oh, hey, alert. Have a good meal. Enjoy. All right. Enjoy it in good health. Awesome. Thank you for joining in, by the way. Having some ribeye today. Actually, today is hamburger day. Today we will be doing hamburgers at the Alaska Prepper household. We have a friend coming by, and we're going to be eating some good cheddar hamburgers from Tommy G's. He makes these hamburger patties, and he puts cheddar cheese in it, and man, they are so darn good. And I guess where I fry them up or grill them. I grill them in my air fryer, and they come out perfect. 10 minutes on the air fryer on high at 400 degrees. You flip it over 5 minutes after, and it's the perfect burger. So it comes out great. Jacqueline, you can take a look at my Amazon storefront, all right, and then get the name from it, and then go ahead and grab it from your Amazon. Because I don't think that you can purchase from my Amazon storefront in the UK. But it's just a actually, I can just tell you now, it's a ppm tester. It's a water ppm tester, and it says parts. Ppm is particulates per million, right? And that doesn't really tell you what's in your water. It just tells you how dirty your water is from particulates that are not H2O, right? So the smaller the amount, the better. Sakira, you should have as much as you're comfortable with. I believe that every single family in the United States should have a minimum of 6 months to a year worth of food that they already eat. It doesn't have to be storable food. All right. You should start out with the food that you already eat and just extend your pantry out to at least 6 months. My opinion, of course. It can be 3 months if that's what you want. Right. But my opinion, 6 months to a year. Foods that you already eat. Once you have a year's worth at least, and you want to venture out into getting like third party foods like freeze dry foods and things like that, by all means, I think that diversification in your food products, just like in anything else, is very important, right? It helps with food fatigue. There's different reasons why you may want to have freeze dry foods than your regular foods, than jarred foods or canned foods. You know, there's several reasons why you may want to have those instead. And I'll just give you one example. They're easy to carry. They're easy to take in a quick hurry and go somewhere and you have food with you, right? They don't make as much smell when you're cooking them than regular food does. And that's something that you may want to think about if you live, for example, in an apartment building and you're going to cook a full meal because you were the only one that thought about stocking up. And then your neighbors are all going to smell that. What do you think they're going to be coming to when they get hungry? Well, freeze-dried foods, you can go ahead and just add water to those and have a meal, and it's not going to really produce a lot of smell. So there's other reasons, but you know, those are some good reasons, I think. Yep, $4.95 a can, JT. That was such an awesome deal. Imagine if we got on Amazon, JT, and we saw that butter at $4.95. I would tell you all about it after I ordered like 100 cans. All right. But I would tell you all about it. Let's see. Be Charming. You can freeze dry raw meats. I have never done it, but I have had some. You can freeze dry raw meats, and you can just put it away with an oxygen absorber and vacuum seal it and all that stuff. And then you can take it out and reconstitute it and then put it on the grill if you want. So I have done that. I haven't done that, but I've had some raw meat that was freeze dried that one of our community members sent me, right? Brent Winfield. He's our community butcher. And it worked out just fine. What store-bought beans last the longest? They pretty much are all the same thing, all right? If you're talking about store-bought beans like dry beans, any dry beans is really going to last just as long. You put it in a Mylar bag, you properly seal it with an oxygen absorber, you store it properly, you're looking at 25, 30, or even more years, in my opinion. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, oh my goodness, it's an hour and 40 minutes. Oh, that's awesome. Gigi freeze-dried raw beef burgers, and she tried them today, and they come out great. Awesome. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, I have to end this live stream. We have to end it sometime, right? We have to end it sometime. Oh, John Norris, I love spam, brother. I love my spam. Don't be saying that around the Angry Preppers channel, though. He doesn't like spam at all. All right, so let's go ahead and finish it off at that, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great day. Remember, if you haven't watched that video of me, the thumbnail is me and Michael. All right, go watch that video. Let the ads run through on that, all right? Because all of that money from that video is going to be going to Grindstone Ministries, who is going to be doing a mission in Florida, right? And I'm hoping to go ahead and bring that video down probably in another week or so, in a week or 10 days or something like that. I'm going to take that video down and then we'll go ahead and do our donation to Grindstone Ministries. Please don't go over to Bear's channel saying that we're going to do a donation or anything like that. It's not about that, ladies and gentlemen. It's about taking care of one another, doing what we can as a community, right? To help out our brothers and sisters in Florida and wherever else they may need to use some of that money for. Having said that, have a great day. If you are new to the live, if you are new to the live stream, or if you have just subscribed like within the last couple of weeks and you're a new community member, during our outro, go ahead and type in "I am new" or "I'm new" in all caps so that we can shout you out, right? So having said that, thank you very much for joining in. I really do appreciate every one of you for spending a little bit of your time here. Today, oh my goodness, 1 hour and 45 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. You kept me out way too long today, all right? So have a great week ahead, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you again. Thank you very much to the moderators. Love you, ladies, and love you all. Have a great week, all right? Keep prepping, be positive, and eventually, when the crisis that's coming comes, I hope that we're all prepared so that we can see it through the other side, ladies and gentlemen, and that way, the other side, we can have a better country than what we have today. But having said that, have a great day. Remember to be good to each other. When you give people the good things happen. Remember to reach one, teach one, and repeat. If we all did this, the world would be a better place, and you know that it will be a better place. Many blessings to all of you and your families. I'm Alaska Prepper. I am out. God bless you all. Have a great week.